So in example 1, what we have here is a simple example of the shuffle. This guy. Now, I've played this a couple times throughout the course here. You may have seen it already, or you're going to see it in an upcoming lesson. But as I've noted, and will note, I usually play the shuffle with the first and second finger, so I can easily make the stretch to the 6th degree, which is the note that shuffles, so to speak, against the root and the 5th of whatever key you're in. And it really comes in handy when you make those stretches to the flat 7th, when those come into the riff, or when you play here down in lower keys, such as here in the first position for F or F sharp, and really helps to have that first and second finger, so you can make the stretch to the 6th and or the flat 7. So what Jim is doing here is giving you examples of what you can do as variations instead of playing the shuffle. Shuffle's a great thing, but maybe you want to change it up, or maybe you need to play something else besides this, but you still want to stay in that same vein that the shuffle kind of outlines. So let's go over here to example 2. What he has is a riff built out of this A chord, this second position A chord. And in case you don't know, I define positions, and the positions are defined by where your first finger is. So since I'm on the 2nd fret, that makes it the 2nd position, though the chord is rooted on the 5th fret here on the 6th string. So it's not a 5th position chord. This is the 2nd position. So we have here is a riff built out of this 2nd position A chord that has a major 3rd on the bottom. I usually call these 6-string 3rds, as opposed to 6-string 5ths, which have the 5th on the bottom, where you derive your shuffle from. So what we're going to do here is differentiate between the root and the 4th and some other 2-note dyads, while using the slur of the 3rds, the C to C sharp in this case in the key of A. So a downstroke on the low 5th fret here at the 6th string for the root. You got to come up and upstroke the perfect 4th here located on the 2nd fret of the D and the G string. That's going to take a fair amount of accuracy, so it's going to take a little practice for you to come down to the downstroke and then accurately pick only the G and the D string. Something that will help out with that, though, is when you fret this, try to arch your finger up a bit so that just in case you do hit the B string, it won't ring. The better you mute it, the more that you will not hear it. And also, on the other side, make sure your first finger touches the A string, so if you do hit it, you will not hear it. Even though you hear a sound here now, within the context of the riff and the sound of the interval, you'll probably muffle these sounds enough with the sound that you're supposed to hear, so you'll be okay. But the point is to try to make the connection between your pick and the 3rd and 4th string only. So eventually you won't have to worry about this. So after that, you come down with a down and up on your C and C sharp at 3rd and 4th fret respectively. And once again, coming down the downstroke right there for your perfect 4th. Little upstroke here for the scratch. It's notated on the chart as being on the 6th string, but if you just make contact with the strings and mute them out, you'll be okay. And what I do here is usually try to get my 2nd finger down, because I'm going to need my 3rd and 4th finger to play the next dyad, which is a flat 5 between F sharp and C. It's easier for me to get to. A lot of times I play scratches with these fingers, so normally I'd probably do something like this. But in this case, I have to do it with this finger so I can make it to this interval. So right after you play the flat 5, which is giving you a really cool, funky diminished 5th or tritone sound, kind of leaning towards a dominant sound, though these are not the notes that make up a dominant, still gives you that vibe that flat 5s do. We go over to a major 3rd here on the 3rd and 2nd string between A and C sharp. So let's put it all together. I'm going to do it here with straight 8ths in time against metronome setting of 120. Here we go. Okay, so as you can see, my 2nd finger would come down to do those mutes, as I said I would, and I was using straight alternate picking. You could vary this up in your approach by using hybrid picking. So I would hybrid pick the the perfect fourths on the fourth and third string with my second and third finger by doing this. Then picking the C and C sharp, and then hybrid picking the perfect fourth again. So I have, and then from there I'd still do the mute and the next two dyads with the alternate picking. So let's move on to example 3 here. We're going to change up the eighth note feel to swing eighths. Still going to keep it at 120. This is what I learned as a piano pattern, actually, from Boogie Woogie or Boogie patterns. But you can call them what you want. They're just a great way to play a substitute for the good old shuffle. You can also play with picking or hybrid picking. The hybrid picking is pretty simple here. It would just be whatever's on the low strings, you know, the fifth and the sixth, you'd play with your pick. And whatever's on the fourth string only, you'd play with your second finger. Otherwise, you can just do down up throughout. So let's see here. Very slowly, you have a string skip here. You can between your sixth and fourth string to make the octave. The key here is to make sure that you fret this octave with a flat finger, a roll ready to go on your third finger so you can lift to get to the grace note slide from the second to the third. That's scale degrees. Fret-wise, that would be seventh to ninth. So you can make this. Then, when you go to fret this note, which is going to be your pedal point the entire time, or your pivot note, you got to make sure that that frets with another flat finger so you can get to all the other notes, or at least this one, your fifth here of the key of A, coming from A to E, and then, which you're going to play again at the end of the pattern. So you need to get the third finger ready, slide, first finger ready, to be able to play the rest of the pattern. So you can play the A here. So you got this. And then once again here. And then just simply give yourself that hammer on of the flat third to third once again, where you have that triplet on beat 4 of the second bar. Let's put it all in time here and see what it sounds like. Swing eighths at 120. To vary this up, as I said, you can play it with alternate picking or hybrid. I did it with hybrid because I like that snap that I get on the fourth string. You could make a conscious effort to ring these together more than I did. So you get this. If you want a fuller sound, if you want a more staccato approach or something that you think will cut more, then what you do is you're going to have to flip your first finger up every time to get this. So you get more of a stab when that A comes out, and you give it a little accent. Yet again, the hybrid picking will come into play to help you out. So in example 4, the final example here, we have a little play on positions. So we're going to steal this little dominant shape here in the key of A. We have the 1, the 3, and the flat 7. And then we're going to use a first inversion triad, closed position triad, similar to the kind of shapes that you might be seeing over here when you were referencing the larger chord shape for example 2, but we're definitely playing a full-on first inversion A chord down here on the 6th, 5th, and 4th strings. And what we're going to do is toggle between that. So we're going to have this, and I like to use hybrid picking for this, but you can use straight picking if you'd like. So I'm going to play the root and then that good old tritone. This time the tritone is outlining dominant 7. I'm getting the tritone in between the 3 and the flat 7, as opposed to the 6 and flat 3 we had in example 2 at the downbeat of beat 4. So we have here Then we're going to grace note slide into our first inversion A chord, which we're going to do again on the downbeat of 4. So we did it here on the downbeat of 2 and then downbeat of 4. So the backbeat has this. On beat 3, you have a triplet move, eighth note triplet here for this. Notice a lot of times with this style of accompaniment in these types of licks, triplets are usually in this fashion. I hammer on the first 2 eighth note triplets, and then something happens on the third triplet, and that's where I usually use hybrid picking. So a downstroke for the hammer-on, and then hybrid picking, in this case both fingers, to catch the same tritone. Once again, this time it's inverted. We have G to C sharp. Remember, that's a cool thing about tritones. When you flip them over, it's still the same intervals, still the same notes, same interval, just in a different order. Okay, so let's put this thing together here at 120 yet again, straight eighth notes. So there you have it. There's some examples from Jim Campolongo on some substitutions for the tried and true shuffle. So check them out. Take them nice and slow. Think about what you want to do, if you want to do hybrid picking or you want to do alternate picking. Of course, transpose these in all keys, and don't forget to try to play some of these in open. Especially example 3, it feels really good in open position. Little slapback delay never hurts. This type of stuff sounds great. If you do that, make sure it's an analog type of sound, not a digital delay. And there you have it. So practice up, have fun, and I'll see you tomorrow.